space weather, we see some solar flares happening. Joe Biden garners LOLZ by choosing Kamala Harris as his running mate. Strange magnetospheric density going on. And it looks like those flares came out of Sunspot 2770. And we have a new sunspot already on the disk, right up here. You see it at the end of the video here? That's Sunspot 2771. It's already there, it already has umbre, and it's already beta class. Now yesterday we talked about stereo A. We've got some missing data from that. Let's play that for you. Here's this missing data right here. You can see it goes from 1639 on August 10th straight to 939 on August 11th. So you see missing data right there. And some of that ejecta has ejected. I mean, you can see a bit of it here. And then at the end you see the tailing end of it. It should be interesting to see if this data mysteriously comes back. So that's the view from stereo A, folks. And for you new viewers, the Earth would be out in this direction. And let me just take a moment to look at the stream and make sure it's healthy and up here. And we'll get on to more data. So here's the view from the LASCO C2 coronagraph. Just checking to see if we have missing data there too. Nope, that looks legit. And I'm not sure where that ejecta went. So, could be directly Earth facing, folks. I don't know. I just don't know. Next, looking at HelioViewer. Here are the fields associated with Sunspot 2771. And it's a legit sunspot already, folks. And it's got at least 2 umbrae. I'm pretty sure they're opposite polarity, unless something's changed. There's the 171 angstroms view. And this down here, this is probably a sunspot too. It's quite active. It's been producing a whole bunch of brightening events. Not sure if those were flares or not, but in any case, there's 304 angstroms. And we've got custom movies of that too. So here's that area. Let me vanish again. So some legit activity going on there. So cycle 25 is starting out with quite a few sunspots. And I'm pretty sure some of those solar flares that happened did come out of these 2 sunspots here. Again, that one that's rising there is most likely a sunspot. Here is the 171 angstroms view, and you can see some ejecta being blasted off there also. So no coronal mass ejections showing up yet, particularly. We don't really see anything on the LASCO coronagraphs. And here are 2 active regions setting as well as Sunspot 2770. I think some of the flares came out of that, and some of the flares came out of the new sunspot. And Sunspot 2770 has degraded. Its main umbra split in 2, and they both shrunk over the past couple of days. Here's some more data for you. The 10.7 centimeter radial flux still at 74. KP index is at 1. For you new viewers, that's an overall measurement of geomagnetism. And allow me to reappear. You see all those X-ray flares happening. They're all just B-class flares, folks. But those active regions rising in the southeast are looking pretty active. And if that rising sunspot is a sunspot, it should be larger than the one that's already there, Sunspot 2771, which will almost certainly get named today. Proton flux remains pretty flatlined here. And we've got some power outages across the U.S. again. 10,000 plus in Missouri, 24,000 plus in Indiana, 281,000 plus in Illinois, 343,000 plus in Iowa. Shout out to our Iowan pals. 11,000 out in Michigan, and still 19,000 out in New York. It's poweroutage.us if you're wondering what the site is. We've got some missing data on the Discover. It's actually the ACE and the Discover. So a chunk of missing data here, a big chunk, between 1:30 and 5:30 Universal Time. Current stats are a phi angle right around 180 degrees. Possible coronal hole connection there. 3.37 is the solar wind density. Solar wind speed quite low, 312 kilometers per second. And we've got some extreme oddities going on here in the magnetosphere. Check out the density. I've never seen this look like this. It makes very little sense. I mean, how there's that much density in those areas is beyond me. It doesn't make any sense as far as the magnetism shown in the BTBZ, and it doesn't make any sense as far as the solar wind density or speed. So this is an extremely odd, anomalous situation going on here with the magnetosphere. Let's look at the pressure. Here's the pressure. And this is very strange. We see almost no plasma spheres. So these empty spots here, those would be the plasma spheres. And that's where the Van Allen belt traps charged particles in the magnetosphere. And it's very, very strange. I've never seen the magnetosphere do this, not once. And we've been covering this for a couple of years. Here's that odd density data once again. Check it out. Very high density plasma all around the planet. And again, you can see the plasma spheres. Very strange. Very strange. And I have no explanation for that, by the way. Part of science is understanding what you don't know and then admitting it. We don't really see significant ground magnetic perturbations here. This is all pretty normal stuff. So yeah, your guess is as good as mine as far as what's going on in the magnetosphere, folks. That is highly anomalous. Highly anomalous. And there's the GOES magnetometer, and you can see that's a little spiky there. We see these very steep areas here. Usually this is smooth. Noon, midnight. Noon, midnight. But we don't see smooth magnetometer, and here's part of the reasoning. Look at the GOES, the GONG 2 data here, part of the National Sunspot Observatory. This is derived using about 51 ground-based magnetometers here on Earth, as well as magnetometers on stereo A and B. And what happens is when you have these dense plasma regions here, that shows you a weaker magnetometer reading. Anyway, there's the current state of affairs, magnetically speaking, in the local heliosphere. The entire current sheet, at least the part on which the Earth lies, is entirely North Pole. And here's a line of sight field plot, nothing too exciting happening there. And welcome to another Smashlights. Now, part of the reason that we do Smashlights is because we do what's called a news crawler service, yes. So, some of us have discerning eyes, and when we read news stories, we just have insight into things. Now, this is pretty funny. USA Today's headline: tense and teasing online moments lead up to Joe Biden's announcement on Kamala Harris. Anyway, Biden picks Kamala Harris as his 2020 running mate. You think that's going to help him get elected with all this criminal justice reform talk going on right now? Kamala Harris, a straight-up bureaucrat prosecutor who doesn't care about putting guys in jail for pot. Let's talk about Belarus. Yeah, Belarus. Tikhanovskaya has produced a video message, "Don't resist the police." She doesn't want to see bloodshed in Belarus. Here's a clip.
И насилие. Я прошу вас не противостоять милиции, не выходить на...
Anyway, now personally I would never go to a political protest of any kind. Maybe something would change which would cause me to do it, but anyway, this article from Deutsche Welle, a great news source. I really like it. dw.com, check it out if you haven't. It seems like it's objective. Deutsche Welle. Highly recommended. Now, we are streaming live to Twitch, thanks to our subscribers over there. And the reason that we stream live to Twitch so much is just because the platform is great. If you're watching us on YouTube, please take a moment to press like and subscribe. No, that's okay. We'll wait. Yeah, we're waiting on you, dude. Press like and subscribe, or the video shall not continue. Anytime now. Anytime you're ready. We're also on BitChute, by the way, bitshoot.com/smAsho. Thanks to our patrons, the real source of funding for the content. And please consider becoming a patron, as we need a lot more funding to accomplish our goals for 2020, which include gaining nonprofit status and so on. We just can't afford to do that yet, mainly because of a lack of YouTube views, but also because of a lack of funding, period. So thanks, patrons. We have 9 different tiers there now. Yesterday we released some free music, Figurine 2010, an MP3, an original music piece, just for our top patrons, whether they're gold or the condensed matter tier. Anyway, thanks everybody over there at Patreon. It's patreon.com/smAsho. If you want to see alerts and things before everybody else, well, become a patron. And some of the alerts that we send out will get to you promptly. More promptly than these videos. We're also on Subscribestar. Please visit the other links below the video. Perhaps buy some merch. Let's talk cycling. One of my favorite cyclists of all time is Fabian Cancellara. You can follow him on Twitter, by the way. And he's not really having a good time right now as he broke his foot. And we've updated smashomash.com/forums cycling enthusiasts this is how we roll section to include, whoops, Cancellara crashed and broke his foot. So it shouldn't take too long for that to heal up. I think he had surgery on it. I don't know, but man. Now he doesn't race anymore, but he's got a bunch of events called Chasing Cancellara. So if he comes to your town and you're an avid cyclist, perhaps chase Cancellara, and good luck with that. Again, smashomash.com/forum if you haven't checked it out yet. It's quite good. It's a rollicking success, and we're delighted to have all of our members over there. We've got forums on cosmology, Earth and geophysics. There's even a dream log. If you go in the free-for-all section, you can post whatever you want, and you do have to create a login in order to post. This is free. We don't have any paywalls yet at smashomash.com, but they're coming. Oh, they're coming. Let's talk about Zero Hedge's headlines. Now, Zero Hedge is another great news source. And while we don't agree with every article they put up, who agrees with every anything, right? CNN is hosed if Trump loses, says former executive. And it's true. Think about it. What is CNN going to talk about if Biden wins? Tesla has announced a 5-for-1 stock split. A 5-for-1 stock split. Father of modern finance says inflation is totally out of control of central banks. Some very interesting headlines over here on zerohedge.com. They've been reinstated to Twitter, by the way, unlike Ben Davidson. Facebook cracks down on, quote, fake and, quote, local news networks run by political operatives. Exposing COVID-19's orgy of incoherence. Central bank balance sheets to hit $28 trillion next year. Anyway, part of the reason why we make the videos, oh, by the way, Pennsylvania is playing politics with drug rationing. University of Georgia suggests wearing a face mask during sex. Tony Heller did a great video about that, I think it was yesterday. Food bank strains emerge as economy falls off fiscal cliff. Precious metal gets pummeled in early Asian trading. People are fleeing New York and other cities in droves because they've turned into hellholes as a result of protests and ineffective government. A great combination of protests and ineffective government. Actually, rioting. The rioting is really what causes the problem. And again, there's a story there about Joe Biden picking Kamala. And now we've moved on to the scariest, spookiest, most scary, spooky section ever. The section that's so scary and spooky that I've got to talk about COVID. Even though I don't want to talk about COVID. But I'm going to talk about COVID anyway. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this steel pen here, and I'm going to stab this cheap Chinese plastic virus, okay? See this Chinese plastic virus? Consider this your hydroxychloroquine, okay? Now, I don't even consider a virus an enemy. It's not worthy of being an enemy. One of the reasons that we've set up an affiliate is because of COVID, as we're advertising specific things. So one of those things is the Zacurate pulse oximeter. Yes, the Zacurate pulse oximeter. You can see my current blood oxygen is at 97, and I'm so excited to do these videos that my heart rate's now it's at 80. So perhaps check out a pulse oximeter. It's actually very interesting, and you can use these to do biofeedback on yourself. And also, if you're using a browser that has ad shields, when you head to smashomash.com/affiliate, turn off your ad shields, because these are ads. Anyway, the pulse oximeter does qualify for Amazon Prime, which means you'll get free shipping. So perhaps considering purchasing some products here if you're in the market for amino acids or MSM or almond flour or zinc, calcium, and magnesium combination tablets or smashed potatoes or shugu. And there'll be more items added to that soon. And let's talk about masks. Well, first of all, they're ineffective. And the idea that healthy people ought to wear masks in public is stupid, has been stupid, and will continue to be stupid. You can argue all day. You're just going to be wrong all day. I started covering this at smashomash.com/forum on January 23rd. And the first thing I said was, coronaviruses, are they dangerous? Well, not particularly for healthy people, and they still aren't. And healthy people should not be going out in public wearing masks. And when I say healthy people, I mean people without symptoms. So I see the muddy of the water is muddier than I've ever seen it in my entire life. Here's a SciTech Daily article about researchers who've created a mask filtration effectiveness hierarchy. Guess what? It's not necessary, because COVID-19 is not even novel. It's irrelevant. It's irrelevant. It's relevant as part of history. And the pathetic and infantile human response of mankind to a virus with a mortality rate of 0.04%. If you don't follow us on Twitter, check us out. My latest tweet is, hypocrite and economic illiterate Bernie Sanders fancies himself as a revolutionary, because there's nothing more revolutionary than stumping for Hillary Clinton, Joe Biden, and Kamala Harris. By the way, she'll be great for criminal justice reform, won't she, Bernie? Hashtag, what a joke. I love every opportunity to call out overpaid bureaucrat slime like Bernie and like Tom Wolfe and other plutocratic corporatists who want you to think that they're looking out for your best interest. It's pathetic. Shove it, Bernie. By the way, if you follow us on Minds, you may see some exclusive content over there. There are a whole bunch of memes. By the way, if you haven't checked it out, it's minds.com/smashomash. Probably the future of social media. Go order our smAsho Price My First Pandemic shirt via the link on Minds. Perhaps. Or maybe order a Mensa Make Earth Not Suck Again shirt. If you see a breaking news story that you'd like us to cover while we're doing news crawls, like we're doing now, hit us up at the smAsho VoIP line. It's country code +1, area code 610-936-9799. That's country code +1, area code 610-936-9799. Check out smAshomash.org. We've got links to the forum, 2 different merch stores, the smAsho store and the Smash store, as well as our affiliate link. The storefronts include this, and this will be my next purchase. Actually, I need a Smash Survived in purple. I'll be ordering this shirt. I've survived the global pandemic so far. It's got the Grim Reaper motif, totally awesome design. Or perhaps you'd like a Mansa shirt, Make America Not Suck Again. Kamala Harris, Garners, LOLZ. Perhaps you'd like a Smash Team shirt. We've got this in a variety of colors. Perhaps you're considering going hunting while wearing a Smash Team shirt. There you go. There's your Blaze Orange. And of course, we've now released the 3C405 shirt. So for all of our longtime viewers, they understand why this is there. It's because Massive Radio Galaxy Cygnus A is the second strongest radio source in the sky. Yet it seems like nobody wants to talk about it. It's one of many things that seem to be completely just mystified, as if astronomers don't want you to know about it or something. So yeah, order some merch. Or perhaps you just like the plain old logo shirt, which we kind of redid. We spiced it up a little bit. That's our original logo from the YouTube channel and so on. So check out smAshomash.org and link to there and buy yourself some merch. Help to support us that way. Or visit the other links below the videos. Thanks again for tuning in to another episode of Smash Lights. And it's about time to get on to some more things. There's the 1-year graph of the electron flux. And we've come off the highs there a little bit. You can see we reached into warning levels both days. And frankly, I have no idea what will happen, especially after looking at those Magnetosphere movies. I'm expecting this to go back into warning levels today. Very odd scenario going on right now in geospace. Anyway, there's the current state of affairs. Again, I'm expecting warning levels to resume today. Here are the forecast models. And even if we do see a slight reduction here, I don't think it's going to be reduced as much as this forecast shows. But again, it's anybody's guess, because what's going on in geospace, I've never seen anything like it. To quote Mr. MBB333, I've never seen anything like it. Because Mr. MBB333 looks at clouds, and you can look at any cloud and say, I've never seen anything like it, because there's never been anything like it. Anyway, here's the total electron content forecast. And you can see quite high levels of electron flux here. If you're trying to use a GPS around noontime, there's a distinct possibility that you'll see some significant errors. I saw some over the weekend, actually. I did a mountain bike ride which had a 100-mile-per-hour max, and I did not go 100 miles per hour. Here's just one layer of the atmosphere, just the ionosphere. This is 6 hours of data courtesy Australian Government Bureau Meteorology. Let me just make sure the stream is good, and we are good. And if we see extreme ionospheric anomalies here, I won't be surprised, especially with what's going on in the geospace. Very strange. Ionosphere looks pretty normal. I would raise the warning for earthquakes at this point if I were you. Here is what's going on in the solar system. There's what should be going on in 1 week. I'm looking forward to the next new moon. By the way, if you're going out to look at the Perseids, they're in the constellation Perseus, which is pretty high in the sky here. Not too far from your zenith, if you're located where I am. It's east of Cassiopeia, west of Taurus, if that helps. The Perseids, it's the biggest meteor shower of the year. And here's the earthquake rundown. We don't see anything over a 6 magnitude over the past 24. Personally, if I were in an earthquake-prone zone, especially places like these, I would have an earthquake plan, probably a bug-out bag, and I would know which building facades may fall if I try to exit the building I'm in. Yes, I put a square around Cascadia. So especially with how odd the magnetosphere is right now, we see a very, very high density, apparently, and that is indeed an earthquake risk. So for the next 24 hours, I would put up the alerts because it's pretty serious. And we're really having an earthquake drought here. We're just watching the clock tick until a major earthquake happens. So if you're in those areas, please have an earthquake plan. Try to be an asset, not a liability, in the event of a shocking disaster. There's a deep quake at Papua New Guinea. Otherwise, not a lot of activity going on here. I mean, some quakes. No big ones, not a lot of deep ones. There's another deep one. And there's one coming in, a 5.0, as I do the live stream. So there's a 4.4 at Japan. It's at 154 kilometers. And only 3 minutes later, a deep quake showing up in South America there, Argentina. It's a 4.5 at 254 kilometers. And that one that came in while we did the show is at South Georgia Island region there, near the boundary between the Antarctic plate and the, what would that be? The South Pacific plate? I don't know. Next volcano rundown includes Nishinoshima, which is still exploding and still producing a 13,000 foot above sea level ash plume. Mount Ibu also exploding, flight level 7,000, flight level 070 there. Mount Dakono exploding, similar flight levels there. Don't fly your ultralight home-built kit aircraft over that. Popocatépetl exploding. Shout out to the Dollar Vigilante. Can you see Popocatépetl from your location in Mexico City? Anyway, Popocatépetl is producing a 19,000 foot tall volcanic ash plume. Sangay likewise exploding. 21,000 foot ash plume there. Please don't attempt to pole vault the caldera. Here's the weather.gov map, and we're seeing some more flash flood watches here in southern Pennsylvania, central New Jersey, Delaware, Maryland, northern Virginia, as well as southern Oklahoma. Here are the pressure cells according to windy.com. We're letting this advance into tomorrow's GFS forecast. We'll pause it at about noontime. There's where things will be at noontime according to the GFS forecast. Windy.com. They've got a great mobile app. And check it out, the Brian Stelter anticyclone. The Brian Stelter anticyclone is still hanging out off the western coast of Argentina. It's not looking as weak as its namesake. Brian Stelter, weaker than a clock radio speaker. Next, looking at the jet streams. Here are the jets of the Western world, and they are all over the place. The Northern Hemisphere can barely even call that a jet stream. Southern Hemisphere has some going the wrong direction. Here we've got east to west flow. Extreme jet stream anomalies go on and on for years. Probably because of the magnetosphere and the solar minimum. What say you? Do you have a comment? Go ahead, leave a comment, I dare you. Anyway, there are the jets of the eastern world, and you can see the equatorial region is totally blowing east to west, which is totally abnormal. And moving on to the lightning maps, and we see quite a bit of lightning in the U.S. right now. And let's go to South Dakota. Perhaps lightning is etching President Trump's face on Mount Rushmore. Hey, Aberdeen, there's thunder rolling, and next time you hear thunder, check out lightningmaps.org. Convince your foes that you're Thor, or perhaps your friends that you're Odin. Here are the water vapor maps for Africa and for Europe. Water vapor maps for the Far East and Oceania. Water vapor maps for the Americas. U.S. Doppler radar map as we go through value-added services. Pretty strong storms there in South Dakota. Let's get an idea of which way they'll be moving. Here's a U.S. water vapor map. And that should give anybody who's viewing these systems a little bit of insight. We got some stuff moving the wrong direction here over Mississippi as well. So if you're in places like southern Mississippi, you may see some odd storms coming in from the wrong direction. It could be a thing. And let's zoom in on the mid-Atlantic for once, as we've got some sudden cloud nucleation happening there, a bunch of evaporation apparently occurring. And there you see those sudden cloud nucleations happening over Virginia. A state that's lost its mind and decided to do unconstitutional things, like so many of its neighbors, like Maryland. What a mess. Anyway, there's what's going on in the mid-Atlantic. We'll zoom in on South Dakota real quick to show you that fairly concentrated storm. There is that. And again, we are streaming live, so bear with me. And that might stagnate a little bit as there's a bunch of dry air leading it, providing a barrier to slow it down and compress that air. And hey, Smash team, thanks for tuning in. Please share the content on your social media. Maybe we'll actually get to 1,650 subscribers. I really don't know. I don't view any of it as any sort of a milestone. I mean, 1,700 subscribers, I just simply don't care. So anyway, thanks Smash team for leaving comments, etc. Thanks everybody who views the content daily. Check out our playlists, as we've got a lot more than Daily Space Weather on there. Thanks for flying American Smashways. Please keep your head and arms inside the Smash plane at all times, because we've got bonus features. We're going to show you the 131 angstroms 48-hour video, as well as the colorized magnetogram and the intensitygram. So here you can see Sunspot 2770 has weakened to the point where it might become a plage today. It still looks like a sunspot from there. Here's Sunspot 2771, and it is a legit sunspot already. I'm pretty sure we've got two separate polarities, but they might both be south pole here. It is cycle 25, and there you can see that active region rising also cycle 25. Not a surprise to anybody who knows what we're talking about. And I don't know what the heck that's all about. Nobody clicked on the radio, whatever that was. So here's Sunspot 2770. And that is still a sunspot. It's still got significant umbra. Looks like only one now. And here's 2771. And that is indeed a beta class sunspot already. And can't quite see a dark spot yet there with Sunspot 2772, but it's quite likely that it's going to become Sunspot 2772. What say you? Leave us a comment. Let us know what you think. Here's a 48-hour video from the SDO. It's in 131 angstroms. And 131 angstroms, like 94 angstroms, which is the one we started out with, the dark green colored one. That takes 10 images per minute instead of only 2. And these are specifically used to watch solar flares and magnetic flux rope activity and so on sunspots. Anyway, thanks everybody for tuning in. Remember, stare at the sun, don't drink, attempt to understand the physics. Welcome to the Neo-Renaissance. If you do drink, don't drive. And since it'll never be now again, may that solar wind be at your back. And that covidiously absent from wherever you are. And please leave a comment if you're viewing from a different solar system, galaxy, timeline, plane of existence, multiverse, etc.